Ladies and gentlemen of Toros Nation, we now find ourselves 90 minutes away from making it back to the playoffs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edson Ochoa. I am one of the co-hosts of the Down in the Valley podcast. Tonight was very eventful for RGVFC fans. And no, it wasn't because RGVFC had a game today that nobody knew about or something. No, it was more along the lines there was 3 key matches that occurred tonight that would give an indication on what the destiny would hold for RGVFC going into this upcoming Saturday's match against Monterey Bay FC Union. The Toros are currently, or coming to today, they were in 5th place and pretty much in control of their own destiny. Without the results for tonight, it was very clear that all RGVFC needed to win or to enter the playoffs is to win on Saturday against Monterey Bay FC Union. However, with 3 key matches on the line, with Tampa Bay Rowdies versus El Paso Locomotive, Monterey Bay facing off FC Tulsa in a game that should have been played last week, but due to the situation that is currently pretty much taking up USL Twitter by storm in the last couple of hours, it was postponed until today. And of course, the match that just ended a couple minutes ago, which was New Mexico United versus LA Galaxy 2. Now, obviously the first match that was played, we had an El Paso Locomotive who was down to their last match of the regular season. They were going into that match, El Paso Locomotive was actually kind of the outside looking in, but they had the same amount of points as both RGVFC and Oakland Roots at 46 points. However, unlike RGVFC and Oakland Roots, El Paso Locomotive had their last game earlier than, let's say, the rest of the Western Conference, where most of them have their last games this weekend. They had it today against the Rowdies, which was a game that should have been played a couple of weeks ago, or I think like 2 weeks ago, but because of Hurricane Ian, it was postponed until today. So El Paso Locomotive was in a must-win situation if they had any sort of plans to be able to make it into the USL Championship playoffs in the Western Conference. Unfortunately for the Locos, they were unable to get a result, falling 3-1 to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Because of that result, El Paso Locomotive are now officially eliminated from the playoffs, staying at 46. And the reason they're pretty much eliminated is obviously, RGVFC, even if they lose, they still have a head-to-head advantage over El Paso Locomotive. You have to remember, in the USL Championship, the first tiebreaker isn't the goal difference like in other leagues. It is head-to-head between the affected parties. In other words, the team that you're tied with in the standings. So for example, in this case, RGV tied 0-0 here at HEB Park and defeated El Paso Locomotive at Southwest University Park, which gives them an advantage of 4 points accumulated compared to 1 accumulated by El Paso in that series. Same thing can be said for Oakland Roots and El Paso. Oakland Roots has an advantage over El Paso Locomotive in that tiebreaker. So now with the win by New Mexico United, and I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, they are now officially eliminated from the playoffs. So you can already scratch another team from there. The other match that was played today was FC Tulsa versus Monterey Bay Union. This was another game or another team that should have won today in order to make it to the playoffs. Why? Because coming into this game, Monterey Bay FC Union had 40 points. They could have accumulated 46, and that would have tied against the three teams that were currently 46, RGV, Oakland, and El Paso. However, they would have had to rely on this weekend that RGV didn't win, which would be obvious that if Monterey Bay wins on Saturday, RGV would have gotten 0 points. However, Monterey Bay Union was unable to get the necessary result to maintain their playoff hopes because FC Tulsa ended up winning this match 2-0 with a brace from Marcus Epps. And so that eliminates Monterey Bay Union from contention in the USL Championship Western Conference. However, the fact that Monterey Bay Union is now eliminated from playoff contention in the Western Conference does not make them any less dangerous. Now they're going to be coming in here to the Rio Grande Valley. In fact, I feel like it's going to make it even more dangerous because now they've got nothing to lose. Sure, they don't have a playoff ticket to win, but they're going to try and play spoiler on RGV to make sure that, okay, we don't have a playoff ticket. Now we're going to make sure that you don't have a playoff ticket either. So that's going to make it even more dangerous, right? So the third game that just happened, New Mexico United hosting LA Galaxy 2. A game with a lot of goals, total of 5. New Mexico United actually comes back from a 2-1 loss to defeat LA Galaxy 2 3-2. And that catapults them in 5th place over RGVFC, knocking us down to 6th place. Which leads me to what are we on the lookout for on Saturday when the Toros play Monterey Bay Union? So we know off the top of the bat that we win and we're in. Like I mentioned before, even if Oakland Roots is able to get a win, we kind of have the advantage, right? But also with the fact is now you've pretty much eliminated everybody underneath except for Las Vegas Lights. So Las Vegas Lights have 44 points right now. And I'll get to in a little bit more details later as we go into the other scenarios. But RGVFC, as long as they win, they're in the playoffs, right? And even if they draw, even if the Toros draw against Monterey Bay Union, as far as I'm concerned, the Toros are in. Because even if Oakland Roots were to get a win with the Toros draw, that is going to get us into 7th place. And even if Las Vegas gets a win against LA Galaxy 2, we hold a head-to-head advantage over Las Vegas Lights. You have to remember, they defeated us here at HEB Park 1-0. We defeated Las Vegas over at Cashman Field 5-1. So while we are tied in head-to-head, the second tiebreaker is goal difference in head-to-head. And obviously, RGVFC gets the advantage in that department. So as long as we tie, or if we win, then we are in. Even also if Oakland draws, as well as RGV draws and Las Vegas wins, we're in. Like we mentioned, we have a head-to-head advantage over both teams. Now, the tricky situation is if Monterey Bay Union get away with it on Saturday and defeat RGVFC at home. This is where things are going to start getting tricky, right? Because if the Toros win, or if the Toros lose, excuse me, Las Vegas Lights cannot win. If Las Vegas Lights win, they move up to 47 points, right? So that's going to push us even more down. If Oakland draws or wins, we're out. We stay in 46. If Oakland draws, they move to 47. Las Vegas wins, they move up to 47, and we get eliminated from the playoffs. Now, if RGV loses, Las Vegas wins, but Oakland loses as well, we win the head-to-head, we make it to the playoffs. So in reality, if you want to look at it on a combination basis, we are about 80% or 85% inside the playoffs. I don't want to go any higher because, as you know, this is USL, this is soccer, anything can happen. And really, Monterey Bay is a team to watch out for. But as far as combinations is concerned, even if we lose, there's still an opportunity to get into the playoffs, but now you don't control your destiny. The key is the Toros need to control their destiny as much as possible. Right now, they have a hold on it. Win or draw, you're in. But once you lose that control, and now you have to rely on other results. And so now you can't control what the other teams do, right? So you need to do what is best for the team, and that is get the result you need. And don't go into the match with, oh, we draw and we're in. How many times have we seen in soccer where you go into the game with a mentality of going in for a draw and you end up losing the game? No, go with the mentality, we're gonna get the 3 points. We're gonna try and see if we can get as high up in the table as possible, so we can try and get quote unquote easier opponents based on the table standings in the Western Conference. Now, there is this whole thing about, for example, position within the conference, within the playoffs, that involves New Mexico United. But for this video, I just wanted to focus on what are the combinations that the Toros need to be able to clinch their spot in the USL Championship Western Conference playoffs for the second year in a row. By the way, I did want to congratulate head coach and sporting director Wilmer Cabrera for being chosen as September's Coach of the Month, as announced by the USL Championship. Huge congratulations to Wilmer Cabrera. I do know that a couple of weeks ago, I was very frustrated, very adamant about maybe his time has come to an end. Maybe he just doesn't know what he's doing anymore, especially after that San Antonio match. If you guys remember that Twitter video that I posted. And I think I can pretty much say that Wilmer Cabrera has kind of like slapped me with a white glove, un golpe con guante blanco, like we say in Spanish. So huge congratulations. I'm very appreciative that I've been proven wrong for some of the doubts that I've had about Wilmer Cabrera. Obviously, he's not perfect. There are still some details that I don't necessarily agree with, like especially with substitutions. But I think, like I mentioned it after the game against Phoenix Rising, I think Wilmer Cabrera in these last couple of weeks has shown that he knows what he's doing. We might not agree with some of the decisions that he's been making, but at the end of the day, they are leading into positive results for the team. I mean, just a couple of weeks, we thought the season was over. I thought the season was over. I thought, yeah, we're not making the playoffs. I honestly, if you ask me as a fan, obviously I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say, yeah, I don't think there's a way that RGV is going to make it to the playoffs. And look, now we're actually controlling our destiny. We're pretty much almost a shoo-in to make it to the playoffs. So thank you, Coach Wilmer Cabrera, for proving me wrong. Obviously, the job doesn't end here. There's still a lot to go, and let's see if we can surpass what we did last season, making it to the Western Conference semifinal and winning it, and kind of make an improvement over last season's RGVFC Toros team. But y'all, that's gonna be it for tonight. Don't forget to check out our latest Down in the Valley podcast on YouTube, and as well as all of our podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or wherever your favorite podcasting platform is. Be sure to check out all of our social media at Down in the RGV on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok as well. And of course, be sure to check out the Overreacted Gamer. That's Jacob Young's, my other co-host's YouTube channel, where he does kind of racing, sim racing content or video game content. And as well, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram at eochoa_8. But guys, we'll see each other on Saturday. And as always, let's go todos.